There's a juxtaposition of freedom that we face today as high-income professionals and entrepreneurs. That freedom that is impinged by our tracking and our technical devices. Hey, this is Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations. I'm going to share something with you that you may not have thought about before. As marketers, we want to track our marketing campaigns. We want to know who sees our ads. We want to know who responds and who doesn't. And we really want to understand the emotional context and detail of our customers. Now, why do we want that? Well, we want that so we can make sure that we serve them well and that we can deliver relevant products and services so that we stay useful in a marketplace. Now, as a high-income professional or a manager, you want to understand the needs and desires of your employees, of your vendors, of your customers, so that, again, you can serve better and have better opportunities come down the line. This is a concept of mutual benefit. Now, the challenge comes when technology allows us to discover minute details about individuals in a predictive manner. Now, this is important. You may believe your privacy is important, yet your cell phone is listening to you to anticipate your needs. It's monitoring and tracking your voice commands. Facial recognition on social media platforms is used to identify you in crowds and build associations of your partners and friends. Do you see where I'm going? What is the point in which the technology or the tracking becomes invasive? It becomes a violation of your privacy. And what is the point where it becomes a useful benefit? So, for example, cancer screening. You go to a medical doctor, they run a series of tests, and they screen for cancer and determine whether or not you've got cancer coming down the line. This could save your life. This could get you early treatment. In fact, COVID, the lockdowns have actually caused millions of people not to get their preventative medical screenings for things like breast cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, you name it. There's a list of screenings that were missed due to the COVID shutdowns that is going to cause in the near future hundreds of millions of deaths. Now, this doesn't mean like next year 100 million people are going to die. What I'm saying is that these individuals could have started their treatment now. They could have got early detection and prevention that they missed a year of. And so down the line, the morbidity is going to increase around those particular diseases, depression, same way a lot of other factors. What if there was a means to monitor someone's behavior to detect concerns? Like if you're consuming a lot of danger, you're smoking and you're doing a lot of bad habits, if machine learning and artificial intelligence could tell you your probability of having a problem, would you change your behavior and move forward? What I'm really getting at is that there is this juxtaposition. There's your privacy, and then there's the power of not having privacy or sharing data, so that you can determine behavioral factors. Now, what's the difference? The difference is your permission. There is a point where you do not want someone to track your every details. As a high-income professional, if someone who wasn't the bank knew about your every day-to-day transactions, potentially that could open you up to identity theft. It could open you up to blackmail. It could open you up to predictive behavior that leads you down an area that you don't want to be. You can modify people's behavior with what you know about them. And I'm telling you this because this is what I do as a newsletter marketer, as a service provider, as a podcaster. I track every click. I track every view and impression. I purchase behavioral data to identify who the readers are and subscribers are so that I can serve them better. But in the same, I could use it to manipulate your decision-making process, to lead you down one path versus another path. And without the mutual benefit and your permission, doing such a thing should be illegal, but it's not. By the way, social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. YouTube tracks the videos you watch so it can make recommendations of other videos, but so it can also sell you advertising. Social media platforms monetize your time. They show you that next thing, whatever's going to keep you on the platform a little bit longer. Free platforms for money management, such as Personal Capital and Mint, use your data to either help their clients So they'll gather this outside data like research, and they'll use it to help their existing committed clients or to present you advertising. It is a complex and difficult situation of privacy. Now, I'm going to advocate that you take a moral position where you're going to serve your customers with this information, and that you're going to, when you have this information, you're going to protect it. And very often legally you have to protect it, but you're going to protect it for the best interest of that relationship. But I want you to be aware that there are situations where you're giving away details about your interests, details about your desires, details about your position, and it all can come back to hurt you. I put myself in a precarious position by doing podcasts and talking about these details and talking about social manipulation and how you can engineer your environment and how your environment around you can be engineered for a certain outcome. These have sometimes political concerns as far as like building up voter bases. Also, it has marketing value about building up a customer base. It also has the concept of relationships influenced by information. Like, for example, if a wife knew her husband was cheating on her, would she act differently? And vice versa. I'm promoting communications. I'm promoting understanding. I'm promoting that mutual benefit. But you've got to understand that this is happening in the world around you. So there are times that a client of mine asked is, how does he become invisible on the internet? Now, this is in the context of market research. How do I become invisible on the internet so I can go look at my competitor's website? Because everything we know about what we can track online would reveal that I'm looking at their website and I don't want them to know. The job search, the individual in a job search. How do I go on to LinkedIn platforms? How do I go into social media and find the right people to be talking to without identifying that I'm looking for a position? This is a high profile individual and they don't want it known that they're out looking. Now, of course, they could go to a recruiter, but recruiters talk. They can also, when a recruiter finds information, they can go look at it on their own if they can become internet invisible. But it's not just about the internet. It's about how do you protect your privacy? How do you prevent identity theft? We've talked about it in the past that a good set of books, good, solid, clean bookkeeping is the very best way to protect you from identity theft. Now, why is that? It's because you'll have good control over your accounts. You'll know if you have false or fake transactions, and you'll have kind of an orientation or focus where anything that takes away from the development of your wealth or the development of your cash flow or the development of your goal would throw up a red flag and you can take action immediately. But the concept is how do you sometimes just walk away from things? Now, historically, that has been done by the cabin by the lake. You know, you go out to the vacation site or you go out to some secluded space and you just take a break from technology. You take a break from reality sometimes and just chill, just relax, no interruptions. You and your journal. I highly recommend journaling, and I have a program about journaling. But you really must touch your thoughts in the sense of reflection, meditation, thought. Now, when you have this, you'll be more deliberate about your actions. You'll be more understanding that, hey, maybe this browser doesn't have my best interests at heart. Maybe this offer that came in the mail or this email that came through my email didn't have my best interest at heart. I'm going to check it out before I click or reply. If you're the part of a spear phishing campaign where they go after high-income individuals, so a bank gets hacked, they take the information from the bank, they find the highest value accounts, and they start drilling down and targeting those accounts, you're going to be more aware of the situation because you've had that chance to reflect. You're not in that constant cycle of next. I highly recommend to many of my clients to exit social media platforms, exit all video sharing platforms, exit all media platforms, exit all newspapers, and focus instead on an outcome-oriented approach to working their day-to-day life. Does it really matter that Biden is not taking direct questions from reporters? Does it matter that Trump did this or another politician did that? Well, not really if you have a clear objective about what your goals are, because if you have a clear plan for what you want to do, then you're not following the clear plan other people have. So let me just summarize this up, put a little bow on it. Media newspapers, magazines, book publishers, authors. There's a whole range of people that want to influence your opinion. That's why there's a concept of thought leadership. And it is a belief that you can, and there's technology and methodology to use words and communications to influence other people. Okay? That's a tool. How are you going to use the tool? Being aware that this tool exists, we want to be also aware of how the tool can be used to manipulate and change our minds. Now, sometimes that's good. You change your mind for the better. You improve your understanding of something. You gain additional knowledge and forethought. But sometimes it's bad. And we have to be able to differentiate between those situations. And in order to do that, we must have a clarity of mind and a clarity of vision and focus. And I believe that is done through outcome management. Instead of time management, we're managing outcomes. We're managing results. And we're doing it with clarity because periodically we just step back, take a moment, relax. We focus on those things that are truly important to us, our close relationships, our family, the people that are near and dearest to us, the people that have the most impact on our family, like our children. And we objectively look at the world around us, understanding that many of the things that are happening for reasons that we cannot see. And in order to do that, we sometimes step away from the usual means and approaches of viewing things. So just like the marketer who wants to check out their competitor's website and they do it invisibly so that the competitor isn't tipped off that somebody's looking, kind of a covert detective view. You might use research or proxy or whatever. But here's the thing. We step away from who we are in the sense of our image, our beliefs, and we challenge those with other new beliefs, historical context, another person's point of view, understanding a demographic or market in their terms, not our observations. And by doing these things, we gain more power. We gain more strength. We gain the ability to make better and more naturally resultive decisions. What do I mean by that? It means that if you do the things that we've just talked about, your decision has a higher probability of outcome because you are able to absorb and convert and use a greater variety of useful information. You weren't distracted by the latest trend or the latest thing. Now, you'll feel like an outsider. That's okay. That's why there's small groups like Inside Strategic Relations and some of the organizations that I've worked with over the past. But you'll be able to have that natural reoccurring success, that influence over yourself and other situations. You'll have the ability to understand what's really going on in the context of reality rather than what you wish would go on. And I could talk about this for a while. As I say in many of my podcasts, if you have questions, please write with your questions. They inform the materials that I share in the future. And it's okay if you send an anonymous letter to my P.O. box. That's fine. I don't need to know who you are. But I'll share with you the fact that when you send your questions in, it helps me decide what we're going to talk about. But it also gives me information about who you are, and I do send you free gifts. I send you gifts and thank you, and I'll answer your question directly so that you're sure to have resources, information, and insights that help you transform business relationships into profits guaranteed. I'm Justin Hitt with Inside Strategic Relations. Visit me at www.insidestrategicrelations.com to ask your questions. I'm here to help affluent individuals, high-income professionals, and entrepreneurs transform business relationships into profits using something we call strategic relationships. Thanks for listening.